All right. My name is Liz Gilmore, and I'm going to be interviewing you for my grad school class. I'm going to ask you a few questions. There's actually 10 questions. Um, However, you interpret the question is how I want you to answer it. There's no right or wrong answer. You can be as specific or as general as possible. You can talk as much or as little as you want to. Um, so you can either look at the camera or look wherever, it doesn't matter. I'm just recording this because I'm going to transcribe it afterwards so I can type it up for my class, okay? All right. So the first question I have is what influences did you have when deciding to pursue a post-secondary degree?
I would say my close friends and my family and a little bit of self-determination.
Okie dokie. What influences did you have when you were deciding on a college major?
Hmm. I guess it would have been probably actually going back to school and getting back into the swing of things and talking to my friend Liz Gilmore about different job opportunities that dealt with math specifically, because that was the area I realized I was interested in. Um, and I guess just being more exposed to the different educational opportunities that are available for somebody.
All right. So Tara, as you've been going through this college process, what social barriers have you faced while you've been trying to pursue your bachelor's degree, and how have you overcome those?
What social barriers?
Yeah, what social barriers have you faced while you were trying to go for your bachelor's degree, and how did you overcome them?
Oh gosh. I think being low income really affected me because my parents themselves had some college experience, but neither one of them had their bachelor degrees. Um, so they didn't really know, I guess, or weren't as informed as some of my friends with parents with higher educations. Um, um, probably being a woman, I would say, um, especially coming from a small town like we do. Everyone our age, if you don't go to college right away, just kind of gets married and has kids, and it's harder to find jobs around here without a degree unless you want to work minimum wage, and then you're kind of stuck trying to live and provide for yourself, and you're kind of always in this cycle, and you're never able to get out of it to actually go back to college or to have time to be exposed to the resources to be available to go back to college.
Okay.
It's more difficult, I guess.
All right. So I know I'm going off the questions a little bit. Uh, so as far as overcoming those, like your parents had some college but not a bachelor's degree, how did you overcome that? Was since you said they didn't really know?
they didn't really know a lot about the process and were really weary when I talked to them about applying for the financial aid, and they didn't want to give their tax information out. They thought it was really sketchy, and they didn't understand that it was going to the government anyways
Yeah.
to verify that they were who they were. They didn't understand that aspect. So when I figured that aspect out, I realized I was still considered a dependent with them, and I still couldn't get the information, and I didn't have all the information I needed to apply to get the financial aid on my own. So I waited until I was old enough to apply for it on my own. So I guess
How did you know to do that?
from my friend Liz Gilmore, who at the time when I figured this out, I think we were 23. She was working at the ISAC Corps, I believe it's called, and had training from them and realized that I could do it on my own if I waited, or the other resources which weren't available to me. But so I guess from her and from the Illinois Corps
Okay.
Student Association is, I believe, what it's called, maybe.
And then going back to, you said being a woman from a small town and there's a cycle, and you said there's minimum wage jobs and you want to go to college but you can't get out of the cycle. How'd you overcome that?
I feel like I overcame that by luck with the job I have now. I kind of just got lucky and had a friend who has a lifestyle that requires him to need a personal caregiver, and I was qualified to do so. And I guess that luck is how I got out of the minimum wage barrier. I refuse to come to the immigration birth barrier at this point in time.
All right. What financial barriers have you faced in pursuing a bachelor's degree, and have you overcome those? I know you touched on some of that.
Financial barriers. Specifically, um, well, being low income family, a low income family in general, and my parents not realizing about FAFSA and the tax information before, like I said. And then I guess me not being so lucky as to find a better job that I could make payments or set up a payment plan on my own. I wasn't, our counselors in high school didn't do the best jobs trying to help low income kids at the time find scholarships or anything like that. So, I mean, I guess that was a barrier too that I haven't really overcome at all at this point. But I guess it's kind of hard being a low, well, not kind of hard, it is hard being a low income person and going back to school, trying to go back to school full time and work at the same time, and pay the bills, make sure your homework's done, stuff like that. So that's still something that I'm trying to overcome steadily, improving upon, hopefully. Saving helps.
All right. What academic barriers have you faced while pursuing your bachelor's degree, and how have you overcome that?
Academic barriers. I guess not learning itself or school itself. It was learning online that was really the only academic barrier I've had so far. It's really, I mean, we grew up in a generation, yeah, we learned stuff on computers, but we didn't fully have our, it wasn't straight on the computer. you know, and getting used to the computer programs and not having a book in front of me. I'm a very touch person, and not being able to do that or write out my work or, erase a sentence and everything's on a computer. That's really, it was a change. It very adaptable, because everything is getting to be very technological, obviously, nowadays. But I mean, that was a barrier. I mean, going back to school at 27 and everything's like, oh, you have to get online in order to see this or to get this homework. I mean, it was different. All these kids were used to it, and I'm like, how do I do that? Kind of feel like an old person when I'm not that much older than these kids. But I guess that's an academic. I guess just asking for help in general is how I've overcome that one. Learning about technology. It's a weird, beautiful thing that we have nowadays, just like the Jetsons.
All right. What sources do you use when you're seeking information that relate to graduating from college?
I haven't really gotten to that step yet about graduating from college because I'm still considered I think I'm still considered a sophomore, but I haven't even transferred yet to Western. I still have another semester to go at Spoon. I think once I get to Western, I'll probably talk to my advisors on how soon I can graduate, what steps I need to take, how many classes, how hours, like stuff like that. But I guess I haven't really got to that step yet. Soon.
All right. What fears do you have about graduating with a bachelor's degree?
I guess the only fear I have is being in debt with money, because I feel like going into accounting is a pretty safe. God, it's a safe degree, but I like math, I like money, I like balancing budgets, I like percents, and I think I'll be able to fit the other lifestyle I want with theater into that. So that's the only fear I have is, I guess, being in debt in general, because it's scary.
All right. What motivates you to pursue an education?
Um, I would say I've always wanted an education. So myself.
Can you watch her just for a second? Kurt's stuck inside the shower.
It's all right.
I guess myself. I wanted to do it for my dad who passed away, because I know he really wanted me to get one. My friends who motivate me all the time, like my mom, my brother. I want to try to help my family have a better life. I want to know that I can do theater and still, have basic needs and get my bills paid and, go out to eat if I want to go out to eat. Stuff like that. What's the question?
Like, what motivates you to pursue your education?
And my dad always told me, they can take away any piece of paper, but they can never take away this.
All right.
Nobody can ever take away your education.
What access to information have you had when you're exploring employment opportunities for after graduation? So what access to information have you had to exploring employment opportunities after graduation?
I guess the internet in general. I mean, I haven't really. I've looked. I've looked to see what kind of jobs are available now, what the job outlook is. But like I said earlier, I haven't really got to the point of graduation yet, let alone job searching. So when we hit that barrier, I will let you know.
And last question, what steps are you taking to prepare for employment after graduation?
What steps am I taking for employment after graduation? Well, I haven't got graduation yet, and like I said, I'm researching, I'm looking around. I haven't got to that step yet. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. All right, thank you, Tara.